Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith in Black Quantity VTF here, T3 Live, and with the market wrap up for the week, starting off the year, and everybody's like, it's a crazy market on Twitter, and nobody knows how long have I been here. Hello, broadening formation, so let me show you how orderly this really was. So here you can see the 60, higher highs, lower lows, and then back up to higher highs, which we see over and over and over again. So we know about that? We did. How would we know about that? Well, let's take a look. So one of the things we had this week was this. Outside day. Remember this? And they're like, it's bullish engulfing, right? But what do we know to be true? An outside bar in a shorter time frame has to be a broadening formation because you took out both sides. So we already know that we have that one there, right? So when we got onto the lows here yesterday, now we've got our lower low. When we come back through here, right through there, two down, two back up. That's a 2-2 reversal. We're looking to at least take that out, and we've got the 60-minute looking like this. So whatever evidence do we have after the Fed comes out to say this thing's going to keep going, right? Well, there's something called a simultaneous break. And so what that means is yesterday you had inside days, a lot of inside days, XLF, you had XLE, you had XME, Amazon, Facebook. So when all of these dailies trigger either 2-2 reversals or inside day to the upside, it's called a simultaneous break. Almost 90 or 100% we're breaking in that direction. So if we go here, you'll see an example. Inside day to the upside. All right. Inside day. Let me get the scan going for you. This is how we know what's happening. We don't have to think. All right. Inside days up, Bank, MU, Facebook, Citicorp, Roku, JP Morgan, Halliburton, pick whatever you want. Morgan Stanley, EA, CSX, across the board, Oxy, Walgreens, all different sectors. Think this market's going down, you're out of your mind. And so we know that we're going to be looking for that broadening formation. And now you've got bigger ones on here, but for SPY, what else do we have? It wasn't just the daily breaks. Okay, so we had 2-2 reversal week. That means you went 2 down and take that back to the upside, right? QQQ. So how many things did that? Go back to your scan. Here's last week's highs. Get the volume. Last week's highs. All right. Here's who was taking out last week's highs. Citicorp, Wells Fargo, Twitter, Comcast, Netflix, Slob, Oracle, Roku. It just goes on and on and on. So we had the daily and the weekly reversals, and we know broadening formations exist because outside bars exist. They have to. So the reason some people miss this kind of thing is they don't know that, or they're trying to use horizontal support and resistance, which price never is. It never does that. So once you have your lower low and you start ripping back through here, we call it pivot machine gun, all right? Because anybody's short, going to be short against that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and then you blow them all out, and then you can stall out like we did once you get through there. So the question is, what are we going to do next week? So we're still inside month. And how are you not going to be an inside month? I'm probably not taking that out, so we're going to be aware of this. So we could easily just go drop it back right through that triangle and back down. The question here is how you're going to get the reversal on the week, all right? Now, this is called momentum hammer, right? So you can keep coming up in here. The question is going to be strong enough to take that out. But you are strong enough. You're closer to the highs to go 2 back to the upside. You'll see this is momentum hammer. What that means is it's green and still going up as opposed to calling a bottom, much like this was the momentum shooter here. Bam. Right? Did we know that? We did. Right? The 3-2 momentum shooter, crush them. Right? Now you're trying to go back up on that. So we'll see how that goes. Also, we can look for inside weeks. All right? So here, we go and we scan. Volume. These are all inside weeks. They didn't take out the highs, right? So this is going to be key going forward. If we're going to go back down, these guys will take out the inside bars to the downside, right? If we're going to reconfirm this momentum hammer, these are the guys who would do it because they're still inside on the week. Intel, Coke, General Motors, ATVI, Procter & Gamble, Gap Stores, Texas Instruments, Colgate, CSX Rail, all right, Pepsi, so you can see FTNT, Adobe, Microchip, Analog Devices, TTWO, all this stuff still inside week. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as I go through the weekend video, which I make every weekend. Notice a couple things here is when we have them jam them up like this, all right, on a day like today, who doesn't like that? I'll tell you who doesn't like that. VXX. VXX, inside day to the downside. Outside day, inside day down. Why is that important? Because you had a range expansion on both sides, consolidation, and then boom, real move. It also did this on the weekly. Here, weekly shooter, back down, 2-2 reversal. Did we know about that? We did. The other thing that on a day like today, what people are constantly trying to do, I'm going to try and pick the top. It's up too much. I think it's going to roll over. Do you? Short things are going down. It's not that hard. All right. So on a day like today, SPY go jamming to the upside. Right. All you got to do is look for the guys who are going down. O'Reilly's red on the day, and you can see this 60-minute here. Like so, inside 60 to the downside. Deckers, another one. Puke, the outside 3-2 down. RPM on the gap list. There you go. Inside 60 down. 1 bar rev strat. That's when you have a 1, 3, and into the basement. So if you want to short things are going down because if the market does roll over, they really get killed. And, you know, I understand they're scalping, trying to play the volatility, but make it easier on yourself because you always want to put yourself in the position of somebody else. If you're long some of these things and they're going down when this market's doing this, you're smashing keyboards. You're like, maybe it'll play catch up. You know, yeah, no. And so you just keep sticking it to them. All right, so we got some inside weeks. Some of those inside weeks, still inside month. And so that means we can still go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're closer to the upside on today's rally, which on the weeklies, when people look at the dailies, they'll be like, everything will look good because they're now coming on the highs. But we got to see how that plays out. And you got stuff like FedEx are still, you know, just fighting off these beaten lows, and so even if they come up a little bit, they certainly could come up some more. Let's go back to the SPY for a second. So you got all this stuff here, all right? When I talk about getting back into the old outside bar, now you're back into this thing. So the question is going to be strong enough to take that out. Outside bar, broadening formation on the daily, like so. So here you can see on the broadening formation how it looks like on the daily. Lower lows, higher highs. How do we get out of here? Come Monday morning, we're going to be looking at this inside 60 right here. Is it for real and break out of that? Keep going. Measured move of this. So you get this, and people are like, I'm going to buy it out of pullback. Are you? Stopped out. I'm going to buy it out of pullback. Stopped out. I'm going to buy it out of pullback. Stopped out. I'm going to buy it out of pullback. Stopped out. I ain't never buying this thing again. Now I'm going short because it's taking out the lows. Boom, right? And that's how the broadening formation catches people, especially those people who try and draw horizontal lines, support and resistance horizontally. Things just don't trade that way, right? Things trade this way. I've been here 7, 8 years now. How many broadening formations have I shown you on a Friday? You ought to pick up on this by now, I hope. So anyway, and if you're not, come see me on the VTF because you can see it all day long. So hopefully that made some sense to you. Hopefully you did capture some of this moves because there's good stuff still moving around. VIX back down to about the 20, so that's back closer to normal. We prefer that higher VIX, but it is what it is. So we're going to see how we get it outside of this. It's a nice short week. I hope everybody had a happy new year, had a great short week, and has an even better weekend. I'm Rob Smith, the Black Quantity VTF here, T3 Live with this week's market wrap-up.